Hello and welcome to the podcast. In this episode, I'm joined by two special guests, David Henderson-Williams and Adam Glover. We recently completed a refurbishment at the Berkshire Golf Club, where we had the pleasure of working closely with both David and Adam throughout the project. Now that the work is complete, we are sitting down for a short conversation to reflect on the process and their experience from the client side. Before we get started, I'll let David and Adam introduce themselves to the listeners.
I'm David Henderson-Williams, a retired chartered building surveyor, member of the Berkshire, and worked on the clubhouse refurbishment group with Adam.
And Adam Glover. In my day job, I'm a project manager come quantity surveyor, 35 years in the industry, and currently managing partner of Garden and Theobald. But obviously in relation to this particular project, member of the Berkshire Golf Club, just completed 3 years serving on the club's general committee. And my responsibility during that time was to oversee the refurbishment project that clearly we're about to talk about.
So Adam, I'll start with you. What were your initial expectations for the project and how did Graham meet or exceed them?
Sure. So look, it's kind of the classic cost, time, quality equation, but with an added dimension here of keeping the club operational and fully functioning during the project. As you can probably imagine, with any members club, you've got a challenging audience, not all of whom will be 100% supportive or in total agreement with what you're planning to do. So it was vitally important for us that we delivered on our promises. And I'm delighted to say that with the support of a great design team, but more particularly the support of Graham as our contractor, the project, when measured against those parameters of cost, time, quality and business interruption, has delivered, and in no small part to the efforts of the Graham's team.
David, over to you. How would you describe your first impression when you saw the completed space?
Well, I was on site almost daily in the latter stages of the project, so I saw that dramatic transformation for myself in the final few weeks. Some of these things always happen sort of last minute, and it was a lot of labour, and it comes together very quickly at the end. But the reaction of the staff and others walking into the refurbished areas for the first time was an absolute joy to see. For many members, the AGM a week after the reopening was the first opportunity for them to see the space. And I enjoyed observing from the sidelines as people walked in, genuinely taken aback by the dramatically improved views across the course that greeted them as they walked through the front doors. Quality of the finishes, the furnishings, and the colour scheme. And that's been echoed by many comments we've had from members in writing who've taken the trouble to write. In fact, one actually wrote in and said, I think your biggest problem is going to be getting people to leave at the end of the day.
Adam, how important was it for the club to remain operational during the refurbishment, and how well did Graham manage that balance?
Yeah, so keeping the club operational was absolutely vital. Whilst our members kind of appreciated that some short-term disruption would be for their long-term gain, there was still a need to keep all of the club's facilities operational. So we kind of deliberately carried the works out in our quieter period, so between November and Easter, when the club has not quite got as much footfall. That said, the Berkshire is a 12-month-a-year golf club. The club is open every day of the year apart from Christmas Day. We've got 2 courses, so that creates greater footfall than you might get with a traditional kind of single golf course club. So the ability for us to continue to provide a food and beverage operation, some temporary changing facilities were always a key requirement for the project, both to keep members happy, but as important to keep the revenue side of the club consistent. Added complexity was that we have a number of staff that live on site, some of whom are actually resident in the clubhouse itself. So, there's a lot of detailed coordination led by Graham's around fire, life safety, noise, dust, etc. And then there was a further complexity, which was part of the project, was to renew the entire below ground drainage system, which is pretty much 100 years old. So that, again, in terms of keeping the live environment operational, was a key challenge. And I have to say, Graham's managed the balance superbly well. We had little, if not any, complaints. I can't think of a single complaint we had from members or visitors. And we did, during that period, have still a number of visitors coming through. and there was definitely, no impact on the club's income. So, I think in overall terms, Graham's managed those complexities of keeping the operational environment running superbly well.
And David, given the tight timeline, were you confident that the Graham team would deliver on time? And how did they instill this confidence?
Absolutely, totally confident. The reason for that is that before I retired in 2021, I'd done multiple commercial refurbishment projects with Graham Interiors around the UK over a 7-year period, almost all in live retail trading environments, which I know is your sort of speciality, that required sites to be handed back to centre management in the morning and returned to Graham when the doors closed at night. They had an unblemished record of delivering on time and on budget, often with some challenging time and operational constraints. And that gave me the confidence they deliver for us at the Berkshire, which they absolutely did. So, no, very impressed.
And Adam, I'm sure you've probably already answered this, but how would you describe the collaboration process with the Graham team throughout the project?
I think Graham's brought a great team works ethic to the project. So a very collaborative team, always looking to help the design team, and also making it very clear when they expected decisions from the clients. But more importantly, and it doesn't always happen on every project, giving the client appropriate time to make those decisions. I think also they brought to the table a thoroughly professional and collaborative supply chain. And of course, you look to your contractor for that skill in terms of the supply chain around them, and particularly in relation to those packages where we still had an element of contractor design to complete. So, yeah, I think also added, and it doesn't happen on every project, I think we had a bit of fun and an enjoyable project along the way. Of course, we had issues, pressures, but Graham's tackled those very professionally, fairly, and I always felt that they had the best interest of the Berkshire Golf Club kind of front and centre. So, overall, a very enjoyable, pleasurable experience, and yeah, absolutely a collaborative team effort from all parties.
Last question for you, David. Would you recommend Graham Interior Fit Out to others? And if so, why?
Yes, without doubt. And there are a few factors influencing my response to this one, which are worth noting, as they definitely don't apply to many contractors that I've worked with over the years that I won't name, but are quite litigious. And that certainly doesn't apply to Graham Interior. There's a can-do attitude which permeates right through the team. For me, when I retired 4 years ago, I didn't think I'd see any of them again. So it was nice seeing sort of people like Daniel pop up on this one. But rather than looking for problems, they proactively look for solutions and reschedule work streams to keep a project on track. And we had to do some of that here. Where ordering means that something's delayed, they will find a way of rescheduling the project to make it stay on time. Certainly seek to build long-term relationships with clients. Are not overly contractual, which is positive from my perspective. I never had a disputed final account in those 7 years working with them around the country, which gave me confidence here. So I certainly recommended them to the board, and you won't be surprised to hear that I'm very happy recommending them to others. So all good from my perspective.
Thank you both so much for joining us today.
Pleasure.
Right, absolute pleasure.
Happy to share with you. So, no, nice talking to you.